All right. We are officially live. I need to work on that intro. That thing is kind of boring. I don't know. We gotta
It's
get
fine.
something. Yeah, we gotta get something more
It's
warrior
fine.
like
Well,
war drums or something.
that's good. There was an intro. I
Yeah.
think you should be
At
proud.
at least we got one. But here's the real intro. Welcome to all of you warriors listening to us live for the Warriors Circle. This is your gathering space in Infinite, the first ever science backed fitness fantasy role playing game. I'm Walt, your 5-star master wizard, founder, and lead designer with 15 years of XP transforming lives through physical mastery, nutritional optimization, mental performance, and gamified behavioral design. Here we share wisdom, ignite action, and unlock the secrets to becoming your ultimate warrior self. If you're ready to level up your mind, body, and spirit, then join us at fitnessfantasyrpg.com and create a bronze tier account for free to gain access to tons of free to play loot and our waiting list for our pay to play game realms. This week's topic is all about restriction and the all or nothing mindset. This week, I am joined with Damian Curtis. What's up, Damian?
Hello.
I'm also joined with Warrior Jasper, our barbarian wizard. Did you say hi or?
Jasper
I
might
think
be a
that was
little
hello.
laggy. It's all right.
Yeah,
We'll
it was
figure
like
it out.
really lagging and like choppy.
We'll work with it. That's live shows, right? I'm also joined with Warrior Claire. Say what's up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Glad to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you here. We got an awesome topic. And we are also joined with our Operation Sorceress, Olia. Say what's up.
Hello.
We are going to dive straight in. We got a lot to uncover. We're going to be going into the what, the why, and the how of this particular topic, again, on restriction. So, restriction is something that we that even dogs have
Let the dog speak.
Yeah.
that even dogs don't like, especially when they are hungry, right? So I first want to kind of open up the floor here for everyone to kind of speak on their personal experience when it comes to restriction. Now, what is restriction? Restriction can come in so many different forms, especially nutritionally, right? It's restricting yourself from certain types of foods. It's restricting yourself from public activities that may have certain foods or certain things that are normal for most to consume, but you're restricting yourself from consuming them. There's also dietary restriction as well. So restricting a whole entire food groups, or even restricting yourself calorically. So going through periods of time when you're not consuming any calories. There are so many forms of restriction, but I think the form that we want to all talk about today is going to be dietary nutritional. So I want to jump straight into Claire to start this off, because I know you have tons and tons of experience, both personally and professionally, and educationally as well. So I want you to kind of start us off, and then I'll share my insights later on.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear from everybody. So I know this is a topic that's really personal for me because I've been doing my first bulk for the last like 7 or 8 months, and realizing that bulking and eating kind of in excess, big air quotes around excess, may be something that I kind of do for maybe the remainder of my heavy training career. Like I don't know that I'll ever do like a true cut again. And this is from somebody who, like, going through this process, I realized that although I considered myself, and trigger warnings for discussing disordered eating and calories and all those things for anybody in the audience. But I consider myself very recovered from my disordered eating. Like I had a very extreme kind of anorexia, bulimia, and over-exercising triad when I was in college. And I feel like I had recovered from that mostly for a long time, but I realized in this last like 8 months or so, where I've been feeling better about my body and having had a better relationship with food, and wasn't trying to actively restrict, but I realized that I still was, literally up until about 8 months ago. And that so much of that, I'm in my later 30s, and so much of that is from messaging from just how, definitely being a woman, the kind of the script I was handed, that like we're kind of told from a young age to like take up a little less space and to be smaller. And there's a lot of conversation around, the dangers to your health from gaining weight. And there's like all this aesthetic based components to this, and health, and it's very complicated. And there's a ton of messaging that we experience and is passed down to us through the other generations. And I know that it hit me really hard for a long time. And even in the years where I considered myself recovered and that I had a healthy relationship with food, I realized I was still not eating enough, and definitely not eating enough to perform in my life and in the gym in the ways that I wanted to. And it made me really reflect and realize how many people around me are probably like, we have this idea that everyone in the US especially is overeating, but I realize a lot of the women in my life are chronically undereating. Lots of runners getting shin splints because they're undereating. Lots of women in there going through peri and post and during menopause undereating, and at higher risk for osteoporosis and osteopenia and all those things because of a fear of gaining weight. And I know for me, it's been kind of around the same time that I started bulking and eating more intentionally in larger quantities. I also ditched the Fitbit and stopped, very intentionally stopped counting anything, counting calories, counting anything aside from my grams of protein. And I was already about a year in from not weighing myself. So this was kind of a jump off the cliff situation into going from realizing that I was kind of restricting and being a little bit compulsive and obsessive and controlling around my food and my lifestyle, to just kind of free falling into, we're going to not do that anymore because I'm tired of kind of still hating myself. Like, I need to learn how to actually treat my body well. And this looks different for everybody, but I know, like, I talk to our physical therapist all the time about just like how we need to nourish ourselves to perform for our lives. And I've just noticed a huge difference. And I really want to spread this messaging, because so much of the messages we get are around eating less, and how you can squeeze in your necessary daily values into even less calories. And look, we still got our 100 grams of protein and it's only 1,500 calories or whatever it is. And again, diet is very personal and nutrition is very personal, but man, do I want the women in my life and everybody in my life to be well fed so we can pick up heavier shit? I tell you what, like that's a big thing for me. So again, don't mean to ramble too much, but this is something that I'm really passionate about, and I feel like could use a different approach. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you all think too.
Yeah, that's so insightful. Thank you so much for sharing that, because you're absolutely right. A lot of people just even across the world are either underfed or overfed, right? And a lot of people, especially in the U.S., just don't have that dietary control or even dietary awareness to even know whether or not they're overeating or undereating. So I think that's going to be a really great topic of discussion. Um, I'm gonna go to Damien. Damien, what's your experience with restriction?
Personally, I mean, I guess restriction on like fast food and stuff is my thing now. Um, I haven't had really any restriction for myself just because I love to eat. Like I'll eat and eat
I know
anything.
you do.
So every time I feel any type of hunger or anything, I eat. Uh, and like Claire said, we need fuel to lift heavy stuff, and I like really lifting heavy stuff, so I just eat. Um, but I guess my restrictions for myself, I have cut out a lot of like processed foods, fast food stuff like that. Um, I kind of restrict myself to a lot of red meat. I love fruit. Carbs are my favorite. Potatoes, rice, all that stuff. And I've been eating like that for 12 years now, and I love it. I usually just go with how my body feels. Like if I eat something and something feels inflamed, or I feel groggy, or something like that, I cut it out. When I smoked weed, I had a bad habit of eating a lot of sweets. I do have a sweet tooth. Haven't had a cavity in a long time, but I do have a sweet tooth, and
You do have beautiful teeth, so we never would guess you had a
yeah.
cavity.
um, but other than that, yeah, I've cut out sweets too. Good sugars. Um, yeah, I don't really have any, you know, bad restrictions for myself. Just love to eat, and I'll just continue to keep eating. So,
I mean, that's kind of like the beauty of figuring out the restriction that works for you. So it's a double-edged sword, right? We're going to talk about this. You know, we're going to talk about the good restriction, the bad restriction, and how that can affect us mentally, physically, and especially emotionally, right? But let's go over to Olia. Olia, tell us about your experience with restriction. I know this was a very strong topic for you as well, and that's why you suggested we talked about this.
Yeah, so this is just the tip of the iceberg, I would say, the restriction, because I see it affecting so many ladies. And I don't want it to. I want every lady, every woman in my life, everybody's lives to overcome these things and get control over it. And my personal experience around restriction was after college. Once I started my first like real office job, full-time job, I was sedentary. Wasn't playing sports that I was playing in high school and college anymore. So I started gaining weight, and it was like very frustrating. I didn't have a good hold on an understanding of nutrition because I was just so active going through school. And then as soon as my activities stopped, I would just start gaining, I don't know, 10 pounds, 20 pounds. I think like my highest weight was probably about 25 pounds higher than I am now. And this was probably like 10 or so years ago when the diets like keto, Atkins, all of these fad diets were huge. I would restrict food groups, entire food groups. And it caused me so much like emotional distress because I was looking at things as bad, as poison. And this caused me more like chaos inside than probably eating something that was not so great for me. So I fully understand and feel all the folks that go through that. And I'm like going back to those feelings, and I already feel kind of like, ugh, all that ick that comes with that. And going through this journey through Infinite, just learning about nutrition, learning how to fuel my body. And Claire, I really love how you said so many women undereat. And it's been amazing watching many of our warrior women go from eating like less than 1,500 calories to like adding 1,000 and dropping like 60 pounds. It's incredible to see. So yeah, that's mostly my experience with restriction, how much like emotional distress it caused me, and how much overcoming it, learning, empowering myself with knowledge on nutrition, um, just turned me into a whole different person. And now I'm able to easily maintain my weight, um, without feeling bad about anything that I'm eating. And I eat whatever I want, really. I look at nutrition as like a little wallet. How much money, nutritional money, do I have for the day? Do I want to eat a sweet? Do I want to eat a snack? No problem. I'll eat that, and then I'll just adjust what I'm doing later in the day or earlier in the day. No big deal.
And I think that's a testament of the skills that you developed, right? And which
Yes.
kind of goes into why this is such a difficult topic for a lot of people. Um, Education, right? I think education wise, there's not a lot of people who are educating on this topic that are not trying, at least not trying to pigeonhole someone down a particular dietary approach. Because that's pretty much the education is like, hey, follow my approach on how I fix this. And if you don't do that, well, I can't help you. And it's like, well, that's again, you could build a community around a dietary approach, sure, but are you really helping the people that don't want to go down that dietary protocol because it's just not beneficial to their personal goals and their lifestyle? So there's a lot of layers to this, and we're going to get a little bit deeper into this in a moment. But I want to jump over to Jasper because Wizard Jasper, you have a very unique perspective on restriction simply
Yeah,
because of
I do.
the bodybuilding
Yeah,
lifestyle.
I
So
do.
tell us a little bit more about that.
I have a very, very unique um, outlook and experience with it because I've experienced both ends of the spectrum. So eating a ton of calories,
trying to lift as much weight as possible, and then gaining some unwanted body fat or gaining very little body fat, you know. Um, and sometimes it got to the point to where you have to force feed yourself to eat all those calories, right? Just for the sake of the gains. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I have experience with controlled starvation. In other words, contest prep diet, right? Where you're tapering down your calories to the point to where, let's say, for example, me, I was eating less than 1,500 calories about 3 weeks out. And at that point, it's like you eat one of the wrong things once, and there goes half of your daily calories right there. Done, right? Um, there's a lot of disordered eating in bodybuilding that a lot of influencers don't want to talk about because they're afraid to do so. And what I mean by that is post show, okay, post show bodybuilding. Um, they'll do these food challenges, like a 10K challenge and everything, and then they'll do like a 15K challenge like a week after that. But if you take a look at it, that's not just a food challenge just for the views. That is disordered eating. Eating way more calories than your body can even think about handling all at once, throwing every function in your body completely off, right? Because it's a huge shock to your body. Lots of water retention, and you see people kind of like blow up in the cheeks and or in the midsection from all the foods that they've been dreaming about eating for the past 3 months, but they've been restricted, right? Um, so I will say that caloric restrictions, even in the fitness community, may lead to disordered eating because there's times when you can diet for like 3 months, get to single digit body fat, and then as soon as you get there and no one's looking, you have like 7,000 calories in one day, and then look like a completely different person in 2 days, right? Um, and there's a lot of emotions like tied to it because you made the sacrifice, you dieted down, you looked the way you wanted to look on stage. Let's say you walk off with nothing. Well, now you don't think that you're good enough. And emotions in bodybuilding can take you all over the place. It could lead you to abusing more drugs or the easiest thing, abusing food, right? And then you look great, you look phenomenal, everyone thinks that you look great, but since you didn't walk away with a trophy or a medal, you think that you look like shit and you're not good enough, and it affects your self-esteem, your body image, everything, right? I mean, it affected me before I became a warrior. It just, I always thought that like I just wasn't good enough, and then I would just eat and eat and eat post show thinking that I'm bulking, but I'm not. It was disordered eating. I was just eating whatever I wanted. Nothing was under control. Nothing was intentional, right? Nothing was intentional. I was just letting my emotions take, you know, take control of me. And then next thing you know, I gained a little bit of muscle during my out season, but a ton of fat that makes it that much harder, right, to get rid of the next time you get into another show.
Hmm.
Um,
Good point.
Another unique aspect, another unique experience is reverse dieting. So let me try to explain this. So let's say you did come out of a show and you walked away with some hardware. You're happy. Your coach is happy. Everyone's happy with you, right? But the thing is, you can't stay at that level, that low level of body fat for a long period of time because it'll fuck you up, right? Metabolic damage. So reverse dieting, right, is also something that can take a toll on you mentally and emotionally because you just have this urge to want to eat more right away, but you can't because now you're slowly increasing your calories upward, right? And in doing so, yeah, you start to feel better. Yeah, you start to feel more energetic. You feel like your brain is coming back to life. But some athletes have this body image issue to where, oh man, my abs are gonna go away. Man, my the firmness in my glutes are gonna go away. Like I'm gonna gain body fat again. I don't want to do that. So that's like another like aspect to this world of bodybuilding. Like there's so many ways where you can just be so down in the dumps from being in a diet, coming out of it, going into a diet, over dieting, or eating way too much food and trying to be okay with it.
Good points. Good points. And I think that goes seamlessly into the why. Why is this so destructive for so many people? And like you said, there's the pressure, right? The pressure and the anxiety, all at the same time, coming from the pressure of making real time nutritional decisions, like during the day amidst of stress, work, life, and all these responsibilities, right? So there's that constant pressure of I need to figure out what my next meal is going to be, and I'll figure it out later until your stomach says, "Hey, I'm hungry. You need to feed me now."
Yeah, I've been there so many times.
Right? And then there's the anxiety of, I have these goals or I want to achieve this thing with my body. It is what I'm going to be eating now going to help me get there? Or do I want to sacrifice that temporarily so that I can satisfy myself now? So there's this constant loop of pressure and anxiety and stress when it comes to making nutritional decisions. And of course, the worst thing that we can do is try to compensate for those nutritional decisions, right? By punishing ourselves. And that's why a lot of people go down this path of that all or nothing mindset. It's either I eat all the healthy foods or I make all the best nutritional decisions, or I'm a failure, or I can't stick with this, or I'll try harder tomorrow or next week. And that's why these two topics are so important to us is, whether that's being just a normal person who's just trying to be healthy, or someone who's just trying to perform better in the gym, or just live a vibrant, long, healthy life, or if you're just trying to be someone that is trying to just have better control over your nutrition and your decision making. This all connects with restriction and that all or nothing type mindset. So I want to get a little bit deeper into and peel back the layers of why people choose this restrictive type of approach, and why is it so difficult for people to break out of it, right? So I'm going to throw the mic off to anyone here. Why do you think this is such a common thing to do, and why is it so destructive for so many, and why is it so hard to break this cycle?
Well, we have to think, I mean, this is so much of this is about societal expectations around aesthetic standards, right? That's what so much of this comes down to, which it's really interesting. And I like absolute mad respect for people who are in the bodybuilding world. Like it just seems like one of the most challenging things. Like you're literally fighting your biology to get down to these super low body fats. Like people are super strong. They're working really hard. But I also know it is a group of people that have ranked some of the lowest body satisfaction ratings across the board. And I think that's really interesting. Like Jasper's talking about how like you go in and you work your ass off and you get as perfect looking as you possibly can, but it's still not good enough. Like what that must do to you psychologically when the entire thing that is on the line is an aesthetic goal. Like, and I think it's a kind of an encapsulation of the entire problem for everybody else, just at less extreme levels and with less science, right? Like most bodybuilders are going in with tons of knowledge, tons of support. Like they've got the mentality to do, like, I know that I am not cut out for something like that. And I think it's amazing to watch people to watch people do that. But when we think about like an average person who then sort of starts to mimic some of these things in their own way, so much of it is like a false sense of control and the idea that, yeah, if I eat less, I will lose weight, and then I will be, for me, at least what I interpret and I knew for myself and other people is then I will be good enough, right? Then I will look like I am supposed to. I will be healthy in the way I'm supposed to. I will be doing things right in the way I'm supposed to. And it's a negative reinforcement pattern, and it's a very punishing existence to. And it also is a false sense of control, like weighing yourself compulsively and counting calories compulsively, even if we're and restricting a little bit or saying no to things, even if we want them and our body's telling us it wants them. I mean, this is a negative reinforcement feedback of like, you don't deserve that, or I ate extra food on Thanksgiving, so I'm going to work out harder in the gym. Like, I do think personally that this all comes down to, this is a top-down issue of societal expectations and marketing that is put on all of us to be better and to tell us that we're not doing things good enough, that we're fucking it up along the way, that we're eating the wrong things, and that we're not working hard enough, and that we're lazy, and that we're not pretty enough and not hot enough and don't have a low enough body fat percentage and all this stuff. I mean, it gets burrowed into us from day one. And so much of it is just about making money off of us, like realistically. And it's about power structure, and there's gender dynamics that come in play, and it gets complicated really fast. But from my perspective, that is so much of what is happening, is this top down, just like, it's this like capitalist predatory thing that sort of keeps us all in our place. But I know that gets a little tinfoil hat of me, but I do think that it's true. So.
No, it's definitely factual. I mean, even in the health industry with supplementation, the supplement industry alone, right?
Oh,
These
yeah.
supplements are supposed to be helping people get healthier, and yet they're making billions of dollars off of us, and half of it is just junk.
Yeah.
I would even say more than half. 95% is junk.
As somebody who worked in regulatory in food science, like and this is kind of common knowledge, but it's worth repeating that supplements are not regulated and held to the same standards as food products. So they are claims that they make. There are some restrictions, but not as many as you would think. And especially in this day and age, while like the USDA and FDA are getting cut, but people are getting fired and budgets are getting slashed, there will be even less moderation and regulation of these things. So I would be even warier of anything that has health claims, that is a supplement that is not regulated and doesn't have to meet requirements for the claims that it makes in the same way, because it's a huge scam a lot of the time, and sometimes dangerous too. So just be careful with those things.
Totally agree.
Absolutely. What else you got, guys?
Yeah, I concur. Society, influencers, celebrities, etc. And then the convenience also, like the convenience of you can just go get lipo, or you can get a BBL, all this other stuff, instead of doing the nutrition, going to the gym to get that right butt that you want. And then we have Ozempic and all that stuff. Like she said, the warnings on that. And then we have the steroid epidemic coming through. And all the youngins taking steroids and getting jacked, but not eating right, not taking into counterbalance on the liver, kidneys, etc. Yeah, it's everything, a whole cycle, and it's sad to see.
It's so sad to see.
Yeah.
I also agree. Totally societal. The loudest stuff is like the not so good stuff. Like the most people are talking about it. Everyone's talking about it, right? Keto, Ozempic, steroids, every other supplement. But the kind of like the real good stuff is too boring, I guess, for people to discuss. And when you don't really know like what's wrong from right, it's easy to believe like the thing that's talked about the most is the right thing. So you kind of just fall into it. You just don't know what you don't know, and you fall straight into that trap.
Oh yeah, and I bought all sorts of green tea extract. Like I was on the gotta stay as tiny as possible train for a while. Like, don't think that I didn't get swept up. I am not above this stuff. And I was not always somebody educated in these things. And I had very food savvy, intellectual parents. And this stuff is really, really powerful. And I hear about it all the time. And yeah, the real information is kind of boring. People will be like, I saw this thing. I have clients I saw this thing. What do I do about that? And I was like, oh, yeah. That's probably not anything. So just keep doing what you're doing. But yeah, it's very hard to counter it, because my advice is we're on a journey of finding what works for you. And often I'm like, well, maybe that would work for you. If you want to take I don't know, like I take MSM. I don't know, like I'm not going to tell you what to do, but it's very, very difficult to kind of counter this insane pounding messages of things with lots of fear tactics and also lots of purported positive benefits. Like the truth is not sexy and not sellable. It's like slow, measured steps that work well for you, like with scientific backing. It's not sexy, but that's what works. It's very hard to remind people of that.
That's the thing, the slow process. I think people were too impatient.
Yeah.
Impatience, right? The inconvenience of making a meal from scratch, and then just door dashing instead, or going to go get your groceries and then we just Instacart. Trying to lose weight, lipo, big butt, BBL. Like it's all the factors of the impatience too.
I also know, as somebody who lived with a lot of anxiety in my body wanting change, I don't mean to cut you off, I'm so sorry, but there's a lot of that impatience is not just like I need a quick fix because I don't want to do the work. A lot of it is wanting to do the work too quickly and harming yourself. Like it becomes a form of like of punishment. You don't necessarily even realize that, like the excessive cardio, the massive cuts in calories, like, and sometimes people are doing surgical options or medical options. Like, and that again is a situation where I'm like, whatever you like, my ultimate philosophy is that it's your body and what is right for you is right for you, as long as it's not harming somebody else. But a lot of that impatience, I see that too, is an anxiety to be better now, is a like, but I'm not good enough now and I need to be good enough now because then I'll be happy and I'll be okay. Yeah. And that was a lot of what my issue was too.
That all or nothing is like, I have to eat 1,200 to 1,500 calories and I have to be working out 7 days a week for hours on end. That's the way, that's the path. Like I see that time and time again, people having that kind of misconception. So also ego. I thought I could figure it all out on my own. I was like, I've got the internet, no problem. I can get on any forum, any blog. I can learn everything by myself. And like ego was getting in my way. And then finally I realized like, hey, I've been spinning my wheels for years. I should probably get some help from somebody that probably knows better than I do. So that was a hard, very difficult step to make.
I agree with both those points, just because going from lifting what I lifted 2 years ago and looking how I looked 2 years ago, and then not being in the gym, a big gym for 8 months and just having a minuscule of weights and also injuries and stuff, and not being able to squat or deadlift. And then trying to get back to what I looked like and how strong I was before. And I'm like, I want it now. I want it now. Let me put all these weights on and hit it now. And it's like, now this week, I'm like, okay, my body's feeling a little funky. Like Tuesday, my back wasn't functioning right. And I'm like, I'm not going to go up to what I was hitting last week and hurt myself. So it's like that mindset of, hey, also, I do have, time in the gym. I'm like, you know what, let me step back, take a deload week, get my body recovered, do some mobility, get some better nutrition in. And then next week, hey, we're going to push it full grind again. And then also like looking at people that either started working out at the same time or after me, and they're stronger than me, they look better than me. That ego gets in my way, or the pride. And I'm like, I wish I was there right now. You know what? Let me step it back up. And it's like, no, hey, Damien, you've been doing this for a while. You know what you can do. Let's just take it back a notch, put it in park, and you'll get back to it.
And we know that comparison is the thief of joy, right? And that, again, we can look at somebody, it's like I think about the bodybuilders. You look at that person that won, that absolutely like took the trophy and ran with it. Do they still feel good? Do they feel good in their body? No matter how good someone looks, it doesn't ever tell the whole story about what they physically deal with. It doesn't tell the history of their genetics, what they're struggling with, what they eat, what they do. And I think that's a really important thing to remember. And again, in those times too, it's like, shifting so much of this, it's so hard to not make this just a like, let's scroll back and look at the entire spectrum of humanity. But so much of it is about being grateful for what you have now and loving and caring for what you have now. And I know for me, it's like, again, going back to this patience, bulking for the first time in my life, basically doubling what I had been eating my whole life and getting like, okay, well, like my midsection's like a little softer. Like I have a little more body fat, but like, yo, hard to have a flat tummy and the fat ass I want to build, right? Like we're out here doing it. And it's just like, we're accepting and being patient, understanding that it's a learning process. And like, cause hey, we always have aesthetic goals. It's all right. It's good to have them. They're fun. Yeah. But it's like, I had to trust that I was going to learn what I needed along the way. And I think and it was going to take months. It's going to take months of like, okay, well, maybe I might gain a little weight. And like, how am I going to feel about that? Is that going to be all right? Like, like it's okay. Like, trust yourself that if that's not something that serves you and makes you happy, that you can shift back slowly in another direction. That we're not going to rock the boat back and forth wildly. We're going to just steer it slowly in directions that are really centered around my central healing and health and love of myself. That like, that's the most important thing to me, because all of this, like, what's the point of all of this? No matter how good we look or what we weigh, if we don't feel good and grounded and love ourselves and feel grateful for where we are, like, that to me also speaks to needing a new direction and a new understanding for what we need. Because I think it's then our goals become punishments if they're just about reaching some unattainable perfectionism, because we want to succeed with love. And I don't know, I know that gets a little hippy dippy, but it's really important to me, for my clients especially, that like, that we're kind along the way, that we're really kind, we're really patient. And again, not sexy, very hard to sell it to people, but I believe it is the way for a lot of us, right? So, which seems like what you're speaking to as well.
Yeah, we got to show grace for ourselves, you know. I think that's like everyone said, like there's that pressure, there's that marketing, there's that just societal kind of standard that people are setting upon us, rather than us setting our own standards of self-love and just self-awareness of who we are, and what we want to accomplish and who we want to be, you know, in this life. And I think a lot of that is fueling that all or nothing type mindset and that restriction. Jasper, you know, give us your 2 cents on this. You know, why do you think this is a problem that is a constant loop that's unbroken?
Um, it's it's a lot of things, but I'll just pinpoint 2 things. Number one, thoughts. Thoughts become things, right? We have thousands of thoughts every single day. Um, but if you have the same related thoughts over and over again throughout the day, then eventually it's going to start to stick. What I mean by that is, let's say, okay, since I've been talking about bodybuilding, I'll talk about this from a bodybuilding perspective. Okay, so let's say you place second overall. Okay, and you get the feedback of the judges. Okay, one thing that I noticed in the bodybuilding community is that whatever the judges tell the athletes, that shit will stick to them for like almost
Life.
forever.
Yes.
Or unless they fix that problem. So let's say that someone took second place. Well, let's just say I took second place, and they said, Jasper, you looked amazing. Okay, like just the entire package was just amazing. Like your presentation, amazing. Everything fits well together. Your aesthetic and everything. But
But your chest is
it's just that like
mm.
chest was just not big and full enough, and his was just bigger, despite the fact that like your physique flowed a lot better than than his. Like that'll stick with you forever. Like, so you're telling me overall I just look better than this guy, but I still lost because of one detail in my body, one flaw. That in itself just drives me crazy just thinking about it, like if as if it really happened to me, right? So now you're gonna go through an entire, I have my notes here, you're gonna go through like an entire reverse diet thinking about it. Oh man, my chest ain't good enough, my chest ain't good enough, right? You can go through entire off season, right? Chest is looking big, striated, juicy, looking like a flex train, right? Because flex sells. And stay with me. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking about what that judge said to you. Like, dang man, like I can be well put together. I could have the best overall physique there. But if I have one flaw with me, it's enough to just beat me. Like, am I just not good enough for this? Like, is it just like my genetic potential just is enough? Am I not enough? Then did I not charm the judges? Like what's going on? Like things like that like will affect you. So yeah, so thoughts become things. um the second one, I strongly believe, um because we're living in like a high-tech age, right? It's 2025, is social media. So social media does a fantastic job through the algorithms of planting these seeds in your mind about what the perfect physique looks like, based on views, based on shares, based on comments. Now, the thing is, it may not even affect you or even spark a thought the first 100 times of scrolling during the week. But over a long period of time, something happens in your brain, right? Where you see certain kinds of content over and over and over and over and over again through social media. It starts to program your in your mind and paint a picture in your mind as what the perfect physique looks like. So right now, for example, the standard for classic physique, the perfect looking physique is Chris Bumstead. Period. End of story. It's not debatable. It's not. 7-time Mr. Olympia. He's got all the subscribers on YouTube. He's got all the followers on Instagram. He's got all the likes, all the sponsorships, all this, all that. You see him everywhere. Oh, fit dad, Chris Bumstead. Dad bod, Chris Bumstead. Olympia level body, Chris Bumstead. My man, quads. What? Who's got really nice quads that I should follow? Chris Bumstead. Who's got a really nice pecs? Chris Bumstead. Who's got like really good looks? Chris Bumstead. You see it over and over and over again. That starts to program your mind into painting an image of what the dream car looks like, what the dream house looks like, what the dream vacation getaway looks like, because you start to see it over and over again, but you don't even realize it.
Hmm.
All it takes is for you to like this, like that, like that. Algorithms, they adjust, bam, they got you.
And that goes straight into the thoughts, like you were saying, how that's
Yeah.
fueling your thoughts, and your thoughts fuel your decisions and the
Mhm.
actions and your belief system, ultimately. And that belief system controls a lot of your dietary choices, right? If you believe that in order for you to get that dream body, you have to cut out all your carbs, and then when you have carbs, you're gonna feel guilty because you feel like you failed,
You're
right?
gonna die. You're just gonna get fat overnight.
Yeah, and that's the reality of
Yeah.
it, right? Is if a decision that we make does not fuel that belief system or that vision we have of ourselves in the future, or satisfy that thing that we want to satisfy now, we punish ourselves, right? Make ourselves feel guilty. And for the listeners, I want you to all know that, like, this is common. This is common. Many people have had these thoughts. Many people have felt this way. You're not alone, right? This is very, very common, and it's more common than you think, especially, like you said, Jasper, in the day and age of social media, and constant comparison, right? But I think this is a awesome segue to us rounding out this conversation. How can we combat this, right? What are the things that we can do to regain control of our decision making around restriction? How can we better support ourselves to, again, combat restriction and even possibly leverage restriction for us to achieve our goals and achieve what we want to accomplish in a healthy way?
Yeah.
And what are the tools, what are the resources, and what are the things that we can use to again help us in this area? And
Um,
I think this is, before we jump in, I think this is going to be a really important thing for us all, because I believe each one of us actually has a different approach to all of this, and I think that's the beauty of this conversation. So this is where the
Yeah.
conversation can diverge a little bit, and really get very unique. So Jasper, you're gonna jump straight in. So jump in.
Yeah. Um, Let me take a moment to gather my thoughts here. For me, to keep it simple to everyone, including the audience, the first thing I would say is having your end game in mind. So for me in bodybuilding, I'm probably going to pursue this for maybe a few more years. Um, chase that pro card. If I don't get it, then I don't get it. It wasn't meant to be. But everyone needs to have something to transition to, right? From one big time goal to another. So for me, for bodybuilding, when I'm done with bodybuilding, I'm gonna transition to, you know, combat sports. So boxing, jujitsu, some MMA, things that to keep me
Cool.
active because I've always liked fighting. Fighting is just cool in a controlled environment. I just want to clarify that in a controlled
Not on the
environment,
streets.
not like out in the bar or out in
Clear.
the street.
He said
Just
controlled environment.
yeah,
Okay.
controlled environment. Like I think fighting is an important life skill because sometimes you got to fight your way out of a situation. You don't have a choice, right? Um, yeah, having an end game in mind, meaning that you have something else really, really meaningful that gets you up in the morning, right? That's something that you can run to, not walk towards, I would say. Um, Something exciting, something that you can see that will become your next love, your next why. You know what I mean? And the second thing is um, doing things with intention. I believe that if you plan to do things intentionally, you leave out any type of unintentional mistakes. For example, binge eating, right? So you stick to your diet all week long, and then you planned something nice for yourself on a Saturday night, burger and fries, dinner date with your significant other, something to look forward to that you know that you're allowed to have, right? A more balanced approach. That way you have a better relationship with yourself, right? And a better relationship with food. And also, when it comes to intention, um, have a little bit more intent with what you're looking at on social media and have more intention with what you're liking and what you're commenting. Um, Trolling is funny from time to time. Don't stop that. Trolling is fun. We all need to troll sometimes, right? Just to eat some popcorn, see what happens. But just to bring balance to the world, humor. But other than that, be intentional with what you're doing on social media. There's been so many times in my life where I've caught myself doom scrolling for no reason whatsoever. And since I have ADHD, my brain is just looking for some type of temporary dopamine high, right? And then I can put my phone away. So being aware of that, and also being aware of letting the right things influence you. So
Preach.
when let's say when I'm on Instagram and I'm looking at things, I'm like, okay, she's pretty. I'll admit that. I'll like a girl that's pretty, but I'll also like things that and share things that talk about like fitness, like mobility in your shoulders and hips. I need that. Recipes, share that because your boy needs to learn how to cook. He needs to become husband material, right? So and then other things like from time to time, like sharing things that has to do with the good things that are happening in the world because there's so much hate going on, or some things that might benefit someone else, like how to manage your money. Like so, letting the right things influence you, right? But don't overly be like a robot. And it's okay to troll from time to time and like other press like on other things, whatever you're
We
into.
support punching up. Yeah, get them.
Yeah. All good points. All great points. I think is that intention. Being intentional with your decision making. And like you said, your why is such a huge point, right? Like really having that north star, that beacon, that's constantly guiding you towards your ideal self, and we would call that your in Infinite, your warrior self, your ultimate warrior self. That person, that version of yourself that has that control, right? That has those skill sets to have control over the outcomes and the destinations of where you want to go in life, right? And I think when you combine all your suggestions, Jasper, I think that's a really healthy way to make this sustainable, right? Anyone can set goals, anyone can be intentional, and anyone can control the content that they consume and share with other people. So I think that's really powerful. I think that's really good. Olia, speaking of goals, one of the goals that I know you have is longevity, right? So tell us about what you feel like is a great solution for individuals who are combating against restriction or that all or nothing mindset.
So I can speak from what helped me personally is seeking help from a professional who has the tools that they can teach you to accomplish this rather than relying on myself and relying on social media and the internet to find all of the answers. So, yeah, speaking to somebody that has the education, that has the experience of helping others, not just themselves, and approaching it in the smartest way possible and not the kind of ego driven way of like, oh, I know how to do this myself, I can figure it all out on my own. So yes, that's my suggestion, my what worked for me personally.
And and how do you align that with what Jasper was saying was when it comes to your goal of longevity? Like how do you reverse engineer your lifelong longevity goals with the support that you are getting in Infinite and the professionals in Infinite?
Well, I don't, a lot of the stuff that you see is extremes. Extremes are what are exciting, interesting, get people to talk about it, so to speak. So, slow and steady is the way to win this sort of longevity game. I also follow a lot of folks that have put this into practice that are in their 60s and 70s, and they've been chipping away at this slowly their entire lifetime. So just understanding that this is a infinite game. I must be doing this for the rest of my life if I want to seek these benefits. So yes.
And that is a perfect segue to Damien, what you were sharing earlier today, right? Which is that constant immediate instant gratification, right? And this is why the longevity is not in the minds of a lot of people because they just want things now, right? So, what would you suggest as a great way to work around restriction and that all or nothing mindset? How would you approach it?
Yeah, I totally agree with the longevity. That's one of my goals and has been since I first started. Um, like Olia says, I see 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds in the gym, and they look fantastic. I seen a guy, I'm pretty sure he's late 60s, doing a farmer carry with 315 on a trap bar. Like, bro, you're amazing, you know? But my thing is, I look at my son, he's 2, he's about to turn 3 next month. Um, what is he gonna look up to? Um, and seeing that how I eat, every day, what I do in the morning, my discipline and getting up in the gym every morning. I also talk to myself. The affirmations, We talk about mindset and everything, mental awareness, all that stuff. I talk to myself. I give myself good positive affirmations like, hey, I'm doing this good. I'm doing well. You got this. You look great, etc. We beat ourselves up way too much, and social media and society do not do a good job on helping us with any of that. So it's up to us and our circle. Um, Here at Infinite, we have great support, but yourself too, doing that every day, every night, throughout the day, because beating ourselves up is not good for our health either. Um, and then, yeah, what Jasper said, the little rewards. I've mentioned this before, but I have pizza Fridays after a long, hard week of
That's
sticking
old
to
school for
whatever I
me.
eat. Yeah, pizza Fridays or fuss Saturdays, whatever the case may be. I even sometimes I go overboard, which I don't recommend doing this, but a whole apple pie with some ice cream on it. Um, Not the whole
Man, that
thing.
sounds bomb.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
don't do the whole thing. Um, like I do. So, yeah, the little rewards and then the mental and then the discipline. Those are my 3 points.
Great, great, awesome points. And affirmations for me is what stuck out because I think that's just something that a lot of people don't do enough. In an age where we're constantly consuming, right? We're consuming via socials, we're consuming what other people tell us what to do and how to think and how to feel, right? So, really getting in tune with ourselves is huge. And the way that I personally do that is I journal every morning and every evening. So I'm constantly creating those affirmations. I'm telling myself, "Hey, I had a great day. Here's where I was great. Here's where I can improve, and here's how I can have a better day tomorrow." And it's like that habit. If you keep doing that on a daily, consistent basis, you are reaffirming who you are and your own belief system, and that is truly what's going to drive you for the long term, right? And that's one of our mottos at Infinite is long term sustainability over short term satisfaction because that long-term reward, that loot after grinding through that dungeon is truly the what you really desire, not that thing that's like right in front of you. Like even though it's like, oh, I could just click a button and order a pizza, it's really being like, hey, you know what? Like I worked my ass off in the gym this week. I made progress towards my goals. I had a great positive mindset. I feel good in my own skin. I'm happy. Like, you know what? I can have this slice of pizza or this apple pie with a little bit of ice cream on top and feel good about it and not feel like I am punishing myself or I have to compensate for that afterwards or anything like that. So I think that's so, so powerful and so huge. And Claire, I know you have a lot to say about this. So what do you feel like are, I'm gonna boil it down and help you out here. Top three ways to really kind of work around or work with the restriction and that all or nothing mindset for you? If you could boil it down to three. No pressure. You can have two or one, but
I think for me, well, first I'll piggyback off of Jasper talking about curating what you consume and being really honest with yourself about how it's affecting you, and like just reckon with that and recognize when it's harmful and when it's helpful, and be intentional about who you follow and what you engage with. And then Olia, reach out to a professional if you need help. Like we all need professional help. There is no end stage in this game where there isn't somebody that can teach us and offer us something to help us find better balance within ourselves. Damien talking about affirmations, mindset, the kind of example we set for ourselves and those we love. And then on top of that, I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing for me, I didn't learn this until I got sober. I'm an alcoholic from so about 4 years ago. I didn't know how affected my self-worth was and how much all of these acts of restriction were forms of self-harm and microaggressions against myself and my sanity and my sense of wholeness. And I think this really dials down to me is the individual recognition of our self-worth, that we deserve to be well fed, that we deserve to feel loved, that we deserve to feel good in our bodies wherever they are, that we deserve to treat ourselves to things that make us feel good and make us feel excited and joy and feel pleasure in life too. Like that for me, it was a foreign concept to me that you could exist in your body and not constantly be critical of it and hate it until basically a year ago. This is a new concept to me still and is an evolving growth for me personally through, like, sobriety was a huge part of that for me, because it was another form, I realized, of self-harm and trying to self-medicate with my ADHD and all of those other issues that I needed professional help with, that I was often afraid to seek and had to kind of go through that ego death to find it. And realistically, when I see restriction, when I see fears, when I see relying on data too heavily, I see a lack of confidence and assuredness in our own intuition and our connection with ourselves. So my number one and only real thing that encompasses kind of everything we said is finding ways to support the true you with your true desires, goals, and lifestyle that you are looking for. I know that seems gigantic, but what I'm trying to do is give you permission to live the life that you want on your terms, and honor and allow it and explore it. And it takes time, and it doesn't happen overnight. And a lot of it is about reaching out to professionals and finding mentors and people who have walked the path before you, who have gone through that dungeon once before, and they know the tricks of the trade, and they know where the traps are laid, and they know what will try to lead you astray. You need to just recognize that you are whole and worthy now, and this journey is yours to make however you want. Build your character and live your life. And that's where all of this other noise really interferes. And I just want to help. I want to help people and myself continue to break through it. That you're worthy right now.
Beautiful.
Well said. Well said.
I love it.
One of the most powerful things that you can ask yourself or tell yourself every single day is everything after the words "I am." That's the most powerful thing that you can say. I am, and something that we can all practice more of, like Claire was saying, is saying, "I am worthy. I'm good enough. I am deserving of the things that I want in this life, how I want to feel, and nutrition, food, and all of that is something that can be in your control. You are not powerless. We are very powerful. If you're here with us live, you are a warrior. It's stepping into that identity. And it's that identity that is truly going to drive transformation in your life. The warrior identity has transformed many, many lives, including my own. And that's why we embody that warrior identity. It's not always about war and destruction and death and all the negatives. It's really embodying the mentality of someone that can be powerful, be confident, be in control, and to truly have that self-awareness and self-control of yourself. And I guess my 2 cents into this to finish up this warrior circle here, because I know we can go even deeper, and we're gonna continue to have these conversations in the future. By the way, we're gonna dive deeper into this topic and other topics as well. But the big thing for me, if I were to boil it down to one thing, that would be awareness. Really having that self-awareness of why we are restricting personally and individually, right? Do we have that awareness of ourselves as to why we're making those decisions, right? What is fueling those decisions when it comes to why I'm deciding to not avoid carbs? Is it just the fact that you just think that it's going to help you, or at least deter you from getting to your goals? Or is it possibly education? Is it possibly an emotional response to this particular food group? Really getting deeper underneath the layers of how we are reacting emotionally and physically when it comes to our decision making around nutrition and restriction is so powerful and important. But also the nutrient profile of the foods that we're deciding to put inside of our body is huge. That nutritional awareness is big. And, if tracking macros or tracking calories is something that provides you stress and anxiety, obviously that's not a current path for you, and that's okay. But we still need to figure out a way to have that awareness of what we're putting inside of our body. And that's where it ties into hiring that professional. Possibly when you're going to the store, instead of just being like, oh, I like to eat this thing, maybe it means picking up the thing and turning it over and looking at the label. and being like, oh, wow, there's 30 grams of sugar. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe I should make a better decision, right? Just having that little habit of being like, okay, I know what this is and how it's going to serve me and either help me, benefit me or fuel my body, fuel my mind, fuel my performance, fuel my cognitive health. That little extra step is just, some one gateway for you to kind of, again, have that better awareness, because the more awareness that we have, the more confident we're going to be when it comes to making these nutritional decisions, so that we don't have to rely on restriction or that all or nothing mindset in order to get what we want. So that's one of the biggest things that I've been teaching for well over a decade, is having that awareness of ourselves and having that awareness of what we're putting inside of our body first. However way you want to do that, again, is up to the individual. But again, we will be having many more conversations on the things that we do here at Infinite and how it can serve you. And I encourage you all here to join us again every Wednesday for the Warrior Circle here. But before we go, any last comments, last things that any of us want to share with our Warrior Circle before we go?
I had pad thai today, and it was delicious.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh,
I miss Thai food.
wow. I'm still kind of new to Thai. Olia has introduced it to me like 2 years ago. So
Good work, Olia.
all,
Good.
all, all I've had was what was it? Pad siu. That's
Pad
about
Siu?
it.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yes.
We're
Get out
still
there,
working
more
on
food.
sushi though.
Oh, you gotta get there. Damien, I know.
It's the raw
The way.
fish. It's the raw fish for me. It's a little rough.
Start you on some like shrimp tempura or something. You'll be
Yeah.
all right. We'll ease you
Yeah.
in.
Here's cooked.
This is
Oh,
honestly every single conversation I have with people devolves into a conversation about just food at some point. So this is like
Yeah.
perfect. Eventually we're just like, oh, what'd you eat today? Oh, that sounds good. This is what I'm gonna eat today. Does that sound good? Yeah.
I love all of your posts, all of your story posts with all the delicious food. I'm like, oh, that looks so good.
We eat around here. It's a good thing.
I mean, hey, we all love food here, and that's why we're having this conversation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
may be restricting from sushi, but it's not destroying my progress and causing me to lose my sanity, right? Like, anything that you want to share, Jasper? Jasper?
Oh, good. Okay. Okay. But
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I guess one final comment, since we did heavily on bodybuilding. We are going to have a conversation on bodybuilding eventually as well. And again, bodybuilding does not necessarily mean competitive. It's also sculpting your body, being more confident in your own skin, and topics like that. Of course, muscle hypertrophy is going to be a big topic as well, and being able to move your body and control your body like Damien loves to do. He believes it's an art, and I would love to have a deeper conversation about that as well. So bodybuilding is not, oh, big muscles, lift heavy weights, oh, flex, do the chest thing. Like, no. It's
There's some dance moves in there too. I've seen them.
it's an incredible art form that I believe many of our warriors who are barbarians, actually, are barbarian classes dedicated to that bodybuilding training style. So there's a lot that goes into it, but restriction and that all or nothing mindset is directly tied to this. So it all connects, and we're going to have a deeper conversation on that. But on that note, that is all the time we had. We went over today, and I'm actually kind of glad we went super deep into this topic. I can't wait to talk about this a little bit more. But if you enjoyed this Warrior Circle, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel or following us on Twitch. We kind of just getting that going. And of course, if you want to become part of Infinite and play Infinite, feel free to visit our website at fitnessfantasyrpg.com. We just secured that domain, so super easy to remember, fitnessfantasyrpg.com.
Do it. Do it. Get your sexy on. Do it.
Yes, we would love to have you. We are Infinite is open currently as of this podcast to 9 more warriors before we hit capacity into our apps. So now's your opportunity to at least check us out and see if this is now an opportunity for you to begin your transformation journey, physically, mentally, or nutritionally, like we talked about today. And as always, my name is Waltz. I am your wizard guide by your side on your infinite journey. And as always, conquer the day, warrior. And we'll see you next week for next Wednesday's Warrior Circle. See you guys.
Peace.
Bye. Bye-bye.